Last weekend, access to one of the world's most advanced AI systems became restricted to a much smaller group of people. Anthropic was instructed to suspend access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5, two of its most powerful AI models, for foreign nationals. Not just for people overseas, potentially anyone who wasn't an American citizen, even if they were working and living inside of the United States. This is a preview of where AI is heading. The future of advanced AI is increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few companies and a few countries, mostly the United States and China. And if that continues, the risks are much bigger than most people realize. Welcome to Learn Data Easy. This is the series where we break down data, AI, and technology concepts without jargon and without stress. I'm Charlene. I work in data and AI. Now, before we start, this isn't a political video. This isn't about, saying one country is right and another is wrong. It's about understanding risk. Because whenever something becomes important, whether it's food or energy, water, chips, or technology, we should ask a simple question. What happens when too much of it becomes concentrated in too few places? When most people think about AI, they think about ChatGPT. But ChatGPT is just one product. Behind the scenes, the most powerful AI systems are being built by a surprisingly small number of organizations. So in the United States, you have OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and xAI. In China, you have DeepSeek, Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, and other major technology companies. And then you have the rest of the world. Europe has excellent researchers. Canada has excellent researchers. Australia has excellent researchers. Many countries have talented engineers and strong universities, but when it comes to frontier AI models, the race increasingly looks like the United States versus China. France is one of the few countries actively trying to change that. So Mistral AI has become Europe's best-known frontier AI company, and France has announced major investments in AI infrastructure and research. But even with that push, Europe is still operating at a very different scale. And scale matters because frontier AI requires enormous resources, huge amounts of computing power, huge amounts of energy, huge amounts of data, and huge amounts of money. According to Stanford's AI Index, the United States attracted over $285 billion in private AI investment in 2025 alone. China has made AI a national strategic priority. Meanwhile, much of the rest of the world is trying to catch up. And that leads to a very important concept: concentration risk. In business and data, concentration risk is what happens when too much depends on one supplier, one customer, one technology, or one provider. So imagine a company where only one employee knows how payroll works. If that person leaves, the company has a problem. Or imagine a business where 90% of the revenue comes from one single customer. If that customer leaves, the business is exposed. The same principle applies to technology. If the world's most advanced AI systems are controlled by a small number of companies in a small number of countries, everyone else becomes dependent, and dependency creates risk. A simple way to remember this is this: concentration creates fragility. The first risk is access, and last weekend gave us a very real glimpse of what that looks like. A good way to remember this is, imagine you're building a house, but you're building it on rented land. Everything seems fine. The house is beautiful. You've invested years of work. Then one day, the landlord changes the rules, or changes the price, or changes who is allowed through the gate. Suddenly, your future depends on a decision you didn't make. That's access risk. If your company relies on AI for customer support, analytics, coding, fraud detection, marketing, reporting, or product features, you're relying on infrastructure that someone else controls. And if that infrastructure sits mainly inside the United States or China, then access can become political, commercial, or regulatory very quickly. A policy change, a pricing change, a licensing change, a national security decision. Any of these can ripple through businesses around the world. I'm sure you understand what I mean. The question becomes, do you really own a tool if someone else can switch it off? The second risk is economic. And this one is huge. If AI becomes as important as many experts believe, then AI won't just be a technology story, it will be an economic story. Who owns the infrastructure? Who owns the data centers? Who owns the chips? Who owns the models? Who collects the profits? Who creates the highest paid jobs? If the most advanced AI systems are built primarily by companies in the United States and China, then a large share of the value flows there too. This is where Europe, Australia, Africa, South America, and smaller economies need to pay attention to, because there is a big difference between using AI and building the technology that everyone else depends on. Europe is making some small progress. France is pushing. Mistral is pushing. Researchers across Europe are doing excellent work, but the overall scale is still not the same. Think about it. Many companies risk becoming excellent users of AI while remaining dependent on technology developed elsewhere. And that matters, because if you're only a user, you pay rent. If you're a builder, you collect rent. The third risk is geopolitics. And geopolitics isn't theory anymore, it's policy. Over the past few years, we've seen restrictions on advanced chips, semiconductor exports, and access to strategic technologies. AI now sits right in the middle of that conversation because AI depends on a complicated global supply chain. You need chips, you need data centers, you need cloud providers, you need energy, you need software, you need access. If the United States and China disagree, the consequences don't stay inside the United States and China, they affect everyone else too. So a startup in Europe might depend on an American cloud provider, a company in Australia might depend on an American model, and a researcher in Africa might depend on infrastructure hosted elsewhere. A business in Malta might build critical workflows around technology it doesn't control. Software used to feel borderless. AI doesn't feel quite as borderless anymore. Now, the fourth risk is perspective, and this is the one people don't talk about enough. So every AI model reflects human decisions. Someone decides what data is included. Someone decides what data is excluded. Someone decides how the model behaves. And someone decides what safety rules are applied. This isn't necessarily good or bad, it's simply unavoidable. AI doesn't emerge naturally, it's built by people. Now the challenge comes when development becomes concentrated. If the most powerful systems come from a small number of countries and companies, then those priorities of those countries and companies naturally shape what gets built. Industries that aren't priorities may receive less attention. Countries that aren't major markets may receive less attention. Languages with less commercial value may receive less attention. Local problems may not appear on global roadmaps. The things I wish had been explained to me more clearly when I was starting off: AI is not neutral. It reflects the choices and the people who build it. And when development becomes concentrated, so do those choices. The fifth risk is innovation. At first glance, concentration looks efficient. Large companies have more money, more researchers, more data centers, more chips, and that can accelerate progress. But concentration also creates barriers. Training frontier AI models now requires enormous amounts of capital, specialized hardware, technical expertise, and energy. That makes it harder for new players to enter. Startups struggle to compete, universities struggle to compete, smaller countries struggle to compete. And when fewer people can participate, innovation can slow down. Historically, some of the world's biggest breakthroughs came from unexpected places. Small teams, researchers, startups, people outside the dominant system. But if only a handful of countries can afford to build the most powerful AI systems, the rest of the world risks becoming consumers instead of creators. And that's the real concern. Not that the United States and China are building AI, of course they are. The concern is that everyone else becomes dependent on them. Now, before this starts sounding too pessimistic, there is some good news, and I promise there is good news. Open weight models are improving rapidly. Models like Llama, Mistral, DeepSeek, Qwen, and others show that advanced AI capabilities don't have to exist only behind the walls of a few companies. People can download them, study them, modify them, build on top of them. And this is where France's push becomes particularly important. Mistral isn't just another AI company, it represents Europe trying to avoid becoming completely dependent on American and Chinese AI systems. The more strong alternatives we have, the healthier the ecosystem becomes. Open weight models reduce dependency, they increase competition, they encourage innovation, and give more countries a chance to participate. They don't solve every problem, but they push back against concentration. And right now, that may be one of the most important forces in AI. If you understand these ideas, you've built quite a strong foundation. Now let's recap the key ideas. 1. Advanced AI is increasingly concentrated in the United States and China. Last weekend proved how fast access can be revoked. 2. Concentration creates dependency, and dependency creates risk. 3. Countries that build AI capture more of the economic value than countries that simply use it. 4. Geopolitical decisions can directly affect access to technology, and they already are. 5. Open weight models may be one of the strongest forces pushing back against concentration. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. Concentration creates fragility. And if you're learning AI today, don't become attached to a single model. ChatGPT might change, Claude might change, DeepSeek might change, Mistral might change. The models will change, the concepts won't. Learn prompting, learn RAG, learn AI agents, learn evaluation, learn how businesses actually use AI to solve real problems. Because those skills will stay valuable no matter which company or country leads the next phase of AI. And if this has helped, subscribe. And let's keep learning AI the easy way. See you next time.